welcome all y'all space weather enthusiasts. I be your host on the Daily Space Weather, SmashSmash, otherwise known as Dan, and today's title is SmashSmash.com/forum, the place to be, to quote Frank Costanza, who can also be cited as quoted as citing the fact that there's got to be a better way. A Festivus for the rest of us. All right, anyway, we're looking at the local yellow dwarf here, which some people refer to as the sun. And there's been some X-ray flaring. It's a small B-class X-ray flare that happened here just after midnight Universal time, and you'll see it at the end of the video there, right at the end, just after midnight UT. So we'll show you some closer up views of that momentarily. In the meantime, let's go to stereo A, which is right out here, trailing the Earth as it orbits the sun, and seeing space weather first, to show you that really there are not really any coronal mass ejections in the Earth-facing zone right now, and that plasma has largely collapsed. Let's go through the daily Google is a scam and not a verb section, while we ritualistically go through and set videos to private. So here's another one, citing another cure, another rheumatoid arthritis drug for COVID-19. And this confirmed by manual review to not be suitable for advertisements, so we're setting it to private. If you'd still like to watch it, it is available over at BitChute, where it is not a scam, and you will not be shadow banned, censored, etc. And there's the video. The title is, Another Rheumatoid Arthritis Drug Appears to Cure COVID-19/Coronavirus. The sun can also. UV radiation. Also check us out on Minds. It's a good alternative for Facebook. And let's get back to the sun here. And we'll look at the full disk in 3 different wavelengths. So here you've got 171 angstroms. We're going to fade that out to show you the fields. And that is still an alpha class sunspot, as all the umbrae are North Pole umbrae, North Pole polarity. And there's the 304 angstroms view. And we've made some custom movies as we do most days. There's the current state of affairs with the fields, complete with the timestamps. No big changes in the fields happened at the time of that X-ray flare. No. No. Going back to this. Here's 171 angstroms, which also this view showing the North Pole area. And you can see that X-ray kick off. You see that little X-ray flare in a brightening of that magnetic looping there between the fields. Right there you can see that X-ray flare. And here's the 304 angstrom view. You'll be able to see the flare also on this. As it shows you some ionized helium here in 304 angstroms. I'll let that play a second time for you there. Now, how about a third time? And there's that flare moment. We'll show you the graph in a minute. First, we're going to look at 94 angstroms also. Let's get the full disk. This is a 48-hour video, folks. The last one was a custom HelioViewer video. You can make your own at helioviewer.org if you're interested. And there's that little bit of flaring. 94 angstroms is a good call for seeing detailed solar flares. 10.7 centimeter radial flux, up to 70 solar flux units. That's good news for you folks. And here's where stuff is in the solar system. There's where stuff will be in 1 week. And it looks like there's yet another rhombus. Oh, that's not a rhombus, it's a trapezoid. And as we've shown repeatedly on the Daily Space Weather, trapezoids are very, very scary. Oh my gosh, we're all going to die. There's a trapezoid forming. Here's where stuff is above my head on this ultra early live stream of the Daily Space Weather. And allow me to get off the screen, as I look weird when there's a white background. Anyway, if you've got a low horizon, perhaps check out the ecliptic to your east. You'll see a pileup of things like Jupiter, Saturn, and Mars. We're going to look at some transients today, as we haven't looked at them for a while. Here are the transients of the galactic core, which is probably the galaxy you live in, although please leave a comment if you're viewing from a different galaxy, solar system, time, plane of existence, universe, multiverse, planet, spacecraft, galaxy, solar system, etc. Anyway, there are the transients from Sagittarius A star, and it looks like we had a pretty decent dense burst there just a few days ago, as well as about 2 weeks ago. Next, we're going to look at the Vela pulsar, which would be to your right if you were looking at the galactic core. And there are the transients from Vela. Next, we'll look at Crab, which is such a significant X-ray source that it's used to calibrate X-ray telescopes. There's the Crab pulsar. Let's see, 0.25. Pretty normal there. A couple little bursts and shutoffs of the Crab pulsar in the past 30 days. And lastly, we'll look at Cygnus X3, one of the most likely point sources for cosmic rays, otherwise known as the star Deneb, the massive X-ray binary. And by the way, there's a huge section on it in the cosmology forum at smashmash.com/forum. And it has come out of its quiescent state, and Cygnus X3 is turned back on. So it had been off for quite a while, and now it is back on. And we'll be interested to see if any papers come out about that soon. And let's just look at one other thing in the Cygnus arm. How about Cygnus X1? Largely believed to be a, quote, black hole, end quote. I'll just call it a massive radio source. And this massive radio source believed to be a stellar mass black hole by most mainstream cosmologists. Famously bet on in, I believe it was the late 70s by Stephen Hawking and Carl Sagan. And this was the first object believed to be a, quote, black hole, end quote, by mainstream astronomy. And there are the transients from that. Let's see where we're at here. 0.1 is up there. So we're in a pretty low output X-ray state from Cygnus X1. If you want to study them yourself, check out the Neil Gorell Swift Bat Observatory. Don't take our word for it. Next, we're going to look at cosmic rays. So there's the Apatity Neutron Monitor. And we see an uptick over the past 30 days there at Apatity. Here's the Barentsburg Neutron Monitor, which is pretty flat over the past 30. Next, we'll look at Athens, Greece. Still not sending data from Athens. Pretty old data there. Next, we'll look at Mexico City. Pretty flat at Mexico City over the past 30 days. Moscow usually has a larger range. And there's the Moscow Neutron Monitor. Significant downturn at Moscow. And lastly, we'll look at Oulu and DOMC Antarctica. We leave the links to the Network of Cosmic Ray Stations site with our daily space weather videos. If you want to go monitor them yourself, don't take our word on that either. Tiny uptick there at Oulu over the past 30. And flat at DOMC over the past 30. And DOMB not sending data. Again, don't take our word for it. Monitor it yourself at the Network of Cosmic Rays station. And there you can see that B-class X-ray flare. It was actually significant. See if I can get it to show me the the full extent there. I'm not exactly sure what the extent was. It looks like about a B4. I want to say B4. Something like that. Significant. Not quite to the level of a C-class flare, and basically what I forecasted yesterday. Man. Alright, so next we're going to look at the real-time solar wind here. Check out the coronal hole magnetic connections there. Two big ones over the past 24. Current flying go way up around 320 degrees. BTBZ is not particularly exciting. Solar wind density currently around 7 protons per cubic centimeter, 6.5 protons per cubic centimeter. Solar wind speed 434, and that's kilometers a second. Next we'll look at the ACE data. There's the latest on that, and it's showing completely different data, especially with respect to solar wind density, as it did also yesterday. So it looks like something might be wrong with ACE now. Now that Discover's fixed, it looks like ACE is on the fritz. Here's 4 hours of Magnetosphere movie. We cover this daily also. And we've got a very steady magnetosphere. It looks like ACE's density data is not coming back right, because this is consistent with Discover's data. More like a 6 or 7 protons per cubic centimeter there, not less than 1. Next we'll look at ground geospace magnetic perturbations, and we don't see very many. And that is sort of an effect that you would expect with such a steady magnetosphere. As the polar excursion continues, where will it be next time you look? You may never know. Next, the GOES magnetometer is kind of all over the place here. And it looks like some anomalous data coming back, as well as an arc jet shutdown, which with optical instruments we'd call that a CCD bakeout, but let's just move on to show you why it's continuing to be spiky. And it has to do with these different densities of plasma in the corona. Notice the way I'm drawing a thing that looks like a sun here. Well, the sun looks like that from various different perspectives. How did the ancients know so much about cosmology, folks? Please leave a comment. And we'll get to cosmology segment momentarily, about cosmology segments. Keep in mind this data is 2 hours and 2 minutes old. The whole current sheet that the Earth is on is totally charged up by the South Pole solar polar field, shown there in red. And here you can see the B fields shown in blue. That is the line of sight field plot. And we're not expecting any end to the charge up, the South Pole charge up of the current sheet anytime soon. No indications are that it'll change anytime soon. Relativistic electrons have come off their highs a little bit there, still at moderate levels. And it looks like those are calming down a bit. Also on the GOES electrons, that is. Anyway, there's the data from that. Next, the ionosphere. Here's 6 hours of that data. The ionosphere is looking a little wobbly once again, despite seeing a very consistent solar wind. And let's bring up the latest image and move on. There's the current image. Looking pretty normal there, really. Next, we'll look at the pressure zones on windy.com. Windy.com, they've got a great mobile app, and I'm not paid to say that. We create these videos at massive personal risk and liability. Anyway, there's where things will be. Oh, geez, I advanced it all the way to. Let's do that again. Here's where they are now. Still massive high pressure over Greenland and northeastern Canada. And here's where they'll be at noon tomorrow, my time. And I'm on Eastern time, by the way. Windy.com. And hey now, no, ixnay. Ixnay on Athay. Next we'll do earthquake rundown. And by the way, the volcano list is interesting to say the least, as Yellowstone is now on the list. 4.0 deep quake at Argentina, as well as a bunch of quakes south of there over the past 24 hours. That 4.0 magnitude quake at 222 kilometers. And just scrolling up the list, nothing over a 6 magnitude over the past 24 hours. There is a quarry blast on the list. A Syrian quake. There's a 3.6 in Oklahoma. This might be the largest of the past 24 here. It's a 5.4 magnitude at the South Sandwich Islands area. Very far south in the South Atlantic, near the South American / South Pacific plate boundary. There's a deep quake at Dominica. There's a 4.9 at California. Samifif. Samif. Leave a comment if you felt that quake. Looks like an aftershock, a series of aftershocks in that area. And we just had a big quake as we did the video, folks. One just came in east of Kamchatka. There's a deep quake at Argentina. We'll get to that Kamchatka quake. Is it divine providence? All right, there's a 4.9 at Argentina. So another deep quake there at South America. And actually, the largest of the past 24. Tied for the largest is that 5.4 magnitude that just came in. Let's take a look. Is it divine providence, folks? Is it live or is it Memorex? There's a location of that one off of this small island on which probably nobody lives. Please leave a comment if you know if somebody lives there or not. And on cosmology segments, yes. Now, we got a comment yesterday, I believe, asking me why I'm curtailing the cosmology segments, and we're not like ending the cosmology segments or anything like that. We are just being too busy to really cover it. And there are some stories out there that we wish to cover, and it's just not happening at this time. But we might make one today, so I guess that's the good news. And because there's some bad news and some good news prompting me to say no. And we've got updates on smashmash.com/forum about this particular subject. I'm not going to read any of that stuff. I'm not going to say this word. What are you going to be doing when you're holed up? When you're shut in? Are you going to be watching episodes of Seinfeld? What's your favorite episode of Seinfeld? Now, mine is not The Doll, but I wanted to know which episode the quote that I used in the title was in. So, the episode The Doll features a bunch of pool playing with the maestro and their non-wrinkly pants. And yeah, they build a pool room in a room that's too small, and then they break the maestro's conducting thingy. If you haven't checked out smashmash.com/forum, check it out. You may want to scroll down here and click on this. See that? You may want to click on that, as it's being updated every day, such as with this letter from Senator Bob Casey to Pennsylvanians. Or perhaps innovative ways satellites can help with you-know-what. ESA wants your ideas. So perhaps read that also. It's a SciTech Daily article. I won't even say the word tocilizumab. Okay, maybe I will. Have you looked at silver prices lately? Is it cray-cray? Is it 100% out of control that there's a that there's an upward support level at $15 an ounce. I mean, look, that's your chance, folks. We were reporting on it when it was less than $12 an ounce, if you remember that. And I don't know if you remember back in late 2018 when we were reporting on it being under $14 an ounce. Notice how I have nothing else to say about this. And I have very little to say about this. If anybody would like to make a video about it, hit me up. It's smashomash@gmail.com. And I will try to avoid any
solecism
in our conversation, the word of the day. And man, oh man, I've got to say, yes, pile drive that thing. You crush like bug, okay? You crush like your immune system, crush like bug. Keep immune system strong, crush like bug. You kill like the sun with the UV and all sorts of other things. Live in harmony. All right. Volcano Rundown includes Mauna Loa, but first Mount Aso, flight level 6,000 there. Sakurajima, flight level 13,000 there. So that's an uptick at Sakurajima. Tukono exploding, flight level 7,000 there. Mauna Loa back on the list, as HVO reported over the past week 47 small magnitude earthquakes on the summit and upper elevation flanks. Now, we've reported on this repeatedly, especially when they show us a quake that's at like 3,000 meters above sea level, for instance. Maybe not that high, but very high. As Mauna Loa is the largest active volcano in the world. Next, we've got Kilauea, also showing up on the list because of seismicity. Also, Yellowstone showing up on the list because of seismicity. Over the month of March, 111 earthquakes were located in the Yellowstone region. Also, there was a norovirus outbreak in the Yellowstone region long before all of the current insanity, propaganda, nonsense, gaslighting, and pure lies. Nevados del Ruiz exploding, flight level 19,000. Sangay likewise exploding, flight level 19,000. Revenador also exploding, along with Sabancaya, flight levels 14,000 and 27,000 respectively. Here's the jet streams, where they're doubled up in the north and doubled up in the south. Anyway, there's the eastern world, and check out this funky bend right here. That's a weird place to be. Next, the western world, and there are the jet streams of the west. And holy crap, are those all over the place. Look at the flow going out of the Great Lakes region, practically going backwards. Meridional jet stream flow at its finest. Next, we'll look at the water vapor maps of Africa and Europe, and the water vapor maps of the Far East and Oceania, as there is a massive mass of dry air right there. Next, we'll look at the U.S. water vapor map. And what do we got to look at here? Do we have any comments? No, we don't have any comments. If you're watching on Twitch Live, please leave a comment, as we have no idea how many viewers, if any, we have. And is there some spot we want to look at? Well, there certainly is. We're going to look at southern Illinois, as there's a convergence going on there, where dry and moist air are mixing together. And there's a situation there. That dry air is being moistened. Please leave a comment if you appreciate the term moistened. Please use the word moist in the comments. And I know people like the word moist. It's one of those words. It's not like the C word or the V word, though. Anyway, there's a U.S. Doppler radar map. Here's a lightning map. It's courtesy of lightningmaps.org, the real-time lightning maps. And it looks like there's some lightning striking in the southern Texas, places like Laredo. Hey, San Diego. Hey, Alice, Texas. There's thunder rolling in. If you're in Corpus Christi, go have a look to the west. You could see some sprites up there. And look at that zoom out. It zoomed out to Antarctica. Also got some lightning striking northern Australia, it looks like. In the Northern Territory, where there are more crocodiles than humans. Hey, Smash team, thanks for tuning in to the Smash stream, whether you viewed it live or you viewed it Memorex. We appreciate your support, concern, comments, hate mail, etc. Please keep it coming. Tell your friends, tell your foes, so even the least informed idiot knows our mission, which is to assist, study, and report on the ongoing formation of a unified theory of physics, to raise the awareness of the general public of the relationship between space weather and Earth effects, to connect and consult with media organizations to multiply our reach, to demonstrate cutting-edge proof-of-concept solutions to problems, to publish scientific papers in a multidisciplinary manner, to assist mankind by advancing the study of predictive phenomenon in order to optimize value and adapt no matter what the adversity is. Yeah, anything. Regardless of what the diversity is, to adapt regardless. And lastly, to not be ossified in our beliefs and to treat those who are with love, respect, and inclusion to the scientific discussion. So please support us in any way that you can, as we're getting less funding instead of more lately, whether it's via PayPal or via Patreon or even via Subscribestar. We're on all of those platforms. And let's take a look at the latest situation. I've just refreshed the intensity gram. Let's find the umbra. And there are the umbrae. And actually there are more umbrae growing here. So that this umbra was not there when I did show prep, although this one was. So there's actually some building up of this sunspot. Let's look at the magnetogram. I'm going to refresh that also, as that was the one I looked at during show prep. Let's move this over. So there are the fields. There are the fields. There are the umbra. And so there is a little bit of building on the back end of this thing. It's not done yet. Let's look at one more view. How about, oh, I don't know. Any requests? Well, I can't take requests because nobody's commenting. Ha 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 ha! It's the 304 angstroms full disk view. And we are out of here. Thanks for tuning in to the Daily Space Weather. Remember, stare at the sun, don't drink, and if you do drink, don't drive. And since it'll never be now again, may the solar wind be at your back. And the atherosclerosis absent from your arteries.